Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. I hope that you are having an amazing day and that it has been a wildly productive week. And I have our next training here for the library with Vivienne Joy. And welcome, Vivienne.
Hello.
I'm happy to have you here, and I am going to give you the stage. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Hayley. Really appreciate it. Hello, everybody, wherever you're watching and listening from. I'm very happy to be here. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that's possibly not talked about very often in business, and that is communications. So I'm a mindset reset expert, and to be able to do that, I need to understand what goes on in people's brains. And the biggest challenge that most business owners have is not being able to speak the language of their client or understand the people in their lives even. So there's like a mismatch of love languages and communication styles and value sets and needs. And it can all get very icky. So I think if you're watching this, please let me know if you know what I'm talking about here. I'd really appreciate it. And so what I'm going to talk to you about in this short time together is an easier way, rather than doing lots of psychometric tests and all sorts of really complex training, to understand personality types. Now, of course, nobody fits into one complete personality type. There are multiple, but actually there are some really strong kind of predicates, as we call them in NLP, and I'm an NLP master and trainer, train and coach and certify coaches all over the world, around certain personality types. And as you go along in this, I'm sure you will nod along in parts of it and go, oh no, in others, and you will start to understand which of these two I'm going to talk about you are. And as you do that, I want you to then think about which of these two your clients are, your friends, your family, your children, your in-laws, whoever you've got in your life. And it may help you to understand why you sometimes don't understand each other. So this sort of training, as you start to get it, you understand how to recognize, will create happier, more harmonious relationships, and in business, good working relationships and repeat sales, which, let's face it, all business owners need. Otherwise, we're in this horrible battle of finding clients all the time. So my talk today is about cats and dogs. Now, if you're watching this, you'll possibly be a cat person, a dog person, or you'll have a scattering of both. I'm a dog person. I've got 3 of them. In fact, my partner, my wife, Emma, is a dog behaviorist and trainer. So we are absolute dogs. And this is where part of my talk came from. And this is what I've taught in corporate circles, in big trainings and executive coaching, to help teams understand each other. So what do I talk about? Cats and dogs. So if you just think about now having a cat in front of you and what a cat is like. So a cat is very still. It's very quiet. It's very hard to understand what a cat's thinking, how it's feeling. A cat will only ever really do something it wants to do, and it won't really be convinced otherwise. And it will do it in its time, it'll do it in its own energy space, and it'll be maybe lured. If you have to lure a cat in, you can maybe put some fish bones out or some nice sauce for milk. But actually, if you try and force feed a cat, it won't have any of it. The only time we know if a cat is not happy is if it's really displeased, and it will have the talons out or that little flick of the tail. And ironically, even with a cat, that flick of the tail can mean I'm happy or get away from me, I'm not so happy. I call this the cool cat. The cool cat has a very still head, and we don't know what it's thinking. And if you think about the people in your life that are cool cats, they've got the poker face. They're the ones you think, ooh, I don't know. The clients, you can't really read whether they're going to buy from you, whether they're enjoying what they're doing. They won't be that vocal in group settings. They will be too busy thinking about what their opinion and thoughts are in their head. They won't really contribute much unless it's about facts and figures and detail, because they're quite analytical and logical in their brain. A cat also likes to be in control. Yeah, you think about when you have a pack of cats. Ooh, there's a bit of vying for this. A different way. Dogs will happily live together as long as they're introduced correctly. Cats, normally there's a king of the cat. Not so much with dogs, like they're just bigger or smaller, but actually there are definitely in the animal kingdom a hierarchy. Cats like to be in control. They like to be like the pilot of the plane rather than the person serving the tea and coffee. They also like to think they've had all of the ideas and making all of the decisions because they like to be in control. And if this is you, you'll be saying, yes, Vivienne, that's me. I am probably a cat. Now then, the irony of the whole thing is when I start to describe dogs, you will probably understand some of what I'm saying. And if you are a real cat, and I call them high cats or low cats, i.e. some are really cat-like and some are just a little bit cat-like. And it's the same with what I'm going to talk about with dogs. And very often cats want to be dogs and dogs want to be cats. And I'll go into that in a bit. So let's think about a dog now. And if you've got one, it's much easier. So a dog is the opposite. A dog is like very much like this most of the time. Its head is going to the side. You can tell how a dog's feeling. Its tail has multiple positions to show you exactly how it's feeling. If you learn that, and you can follow my wife if you want to know more. It's been an absolute education to understand how dogs communicate. They will be there for you. They will come to you when you ask them to. They'll unconditionally be there. They will eat whatever you put down for them. 9 times out of 10, especially a bigger dog, they are very friendly. So we call our hot dogs, they're very friendly, whereas our cool cats are very credible. Now, there's no right or wrongs, by the way, and we need all of these to exist. And of course, cats and dogs do happily live together in the kingdom, but they do allow themselves space and they do get to know each other. And actually, you need to do the same. So as the complete opposite of a cat, a dog hates to be in command of anything. They're very much a team player. They want to be seen as part of things. They love community. So maybe quite a few of them in this community. They really, really love recognition, praise, stroking, to be told they're doing a really, really, really good job. They're quite easy to motivate and reward. Like we can get to be more together. We can go out and do team building things, whereas a cat not so keen on that kind of stuff because, of course, they're the ones in control and they're the pilots of the plane. They don't want to get involved with the passengers. A cat, well, very often they are the ones that have all of the information, but actually they don't. It's almost like they look more credible. They're more able to show their credibility rather than be competent. Whereas a dog, they're normally way more competent than they give themselves credit for. So they may be really good, but they say, oh no, not me. I'm not very good at that. Oh no, we'll let somebody else do that. They'll be the ones that go and fetch things. So if you've got them in a lovely group setting and you say, oh, we haven't got enough chairs, the dog, the highest dog of the group will go, oh, I'll go and get the chair, or I'll go and find the flip chart, or I'll go to the shop and get the milk, or whatever it is that's going on. They will be really accommodating because a dog just wants everybody to be happy and get on. They're a pack. They want everybody to be harmonious. They want to just lay together and be happy. Whereas a cat wants to get recognition and be seen as the person that's changed the world. So lots and lots of differences in cats and dogs. And you may now be thinking, ooh, I'm a cat or I'm a dog. In my experience of coaching, which is many, many, many years, in business, we need to have a balance of both. And that's quite tricky if you are a hardcore high cat or a high dog. Because if you're a high dog, you'll find it really hard to become the expert in something. You will want to be known as somebody that's really friendly, really approachable, all things that we would put with a nice, friendly, likable dog, very soft, very warm, very helpful. We'll always over deliver because we want to be seen as that nice person. So actually, if we're a high dog, sometimes we will get a bit overlooked. Sometimes people won't think we're very credible or we're not very good at what we do. Sometimes we will make emotional based decisions because we want to be liked and we want to be preferred. We'll probably not keep to our pricing. We'll drop it at a minute's notice. So if this is you, you'll possibly recognize yourself. So and if we're a really high cat in the exact opposite, we're possibly seen as too serious, too credible, too logical, not approachable, not really that friendly, actually quite a tough nut to crack. And of course, in business, that's not ideal either, because you could be the most credible, amazing, whatever it is you do. But if people don't feel they can come to you, ask you questions, and don't like you, that likability, like you're amazing, but oh, I'm not sure if I could work with you because maybe you'll judge me, maybe I can't even speak to you. And of course, the cat, the high cat, will get overlooked too. So we need a beautiful balance. And this is your mission if you choose to accept it. If you are high cat, how can I be more dog? And if you are high dog, how can I be more cat? Because in my experience, all dogs want to be more credible, want to be more confident, they want to be more leaders, and all cats want to be more friendly, more approachable, and have fun. Because of course that would create a well-balanced business owner, a well-balanced person, and a well-balanced life, which is essentially the holy grail of the work-life balance that we're talking about. So I just want you to have a think and grab a pad and pen if you're going along with this. And I want you to write down, and this is your honesty piece here. No one's going to judge you. No one can see it, by the way. We're not in a Zoom room, which I tend to do a lot of my work. So I can pick on people. I can't pick on you here. And I want you to write 2 columns, cat, dog, quite straightforward, at the top of a piece of paper. And please don't rob yourself of this. Don't do it in your head, because something happens, the magic between the brain and the paper happens. And I want you to write down all of the things that you believe are cat-like about you, and also then all the things that are dog-like about you. Cat-like, dog-like. And as you write them, you may have a couple you're not quite sure, because you will have some qualities. And also, maybe the you that goes out on a night on the town with your friends is one person, and the you that shows up in your business or your career is another. And you might be a completely different person with your partner. So depending on which part of your life needs a bit of work in the way of communications, relationships, and harmony, then you can do this exercise from that position of who you are. So if it's about creating better business relationships and rapport, then I suggest the business version of you does this exercise. Of course, you can do this exercise many times, come back to the recording, or just simply write it down and write it in sections. If you're a cat, you'll have already decided how you're going to do it, and you won't want me to give you any guidance. But if you're a dog, you'll want lots and lots of guidance, and you'll be worrying you're doing it wrong, okay? Because that's how they operate. And as you write these things down, I just want you to notice how many are in each column, so that you can get some clarity if you're more credible cat, cool, credible cat, or more hot, likable dog. And when you've done that, you won't have to do that immediately, because we're going to run out of time otherwise. I'm very aware of the time, Hayley. I want you to then, maybe on the same piece of paper, cats will probably do it on a different one. Dogs, you'll do whatever I ask you to do, possibly, because you want to get it right. I want you to then write down the qualities of the cats and dogs that you don't currently have, that you believe would be really important for that version of yourself, i.e. business, relationship, partner, could be as a daughter, could be whatever, as a mother, that would be more suited, i.e. what you can do more of or less of. So this is real introspection. This is about self-actualization, understanding who you are as a person. This is like a mindset reset, a mini mindset reset, which I do quite a lot of. So actually, for example, I'd be interested to know if you think I'm a cat or a dog on the description, by the way. I'm very interested, always quite fascinated in that. I want you to then think, actually, what I do for a living, and in fact, I'm going to take Hayley as an example, is very high tech. It's quite complex, quite logical left brain. Hayley, if you're watching this, you're probably thinking you're a cat, but you would probably like to be more dog. So how would the cat be more approachable? How can they open themselves up to be more dog-like? Well, they can start a big community is probably the best way of doing that. So are there some ways you can change who you are being, not who you are being in your business or in your relationships, that would make it more harmonious? I want you to think now about your partner, about your clients. For example, my clients always are either really stuck in their business, in their old belief systems, in their old behavior patterns. Therefore, they have to know I'm approachable and I'm non-judgmental. Otherwise, they're not going to come and talk to me about helping them out of their own way. Actually, they also need to know that I'm as experienced and qualified as I possibly can be to trust me with the innermost workings of their brain. So the reason I know this myself is I have to have both. I have to be likable and approachable and credible and an expert, so they've got confidence and safety and security, because that's the way the brain works. So my question to you is, in your industry, in your business, what do you need to have a bit more of or a bit less of in your positioning out into your marketplace? What can you communicate about yourself? I'll give you a tip here. If you're a high cat, vulnerability and telling bits of your story where you weren't quite so fabulous and in control is very powerful. And if you're a high dog, actually being able to say, by the way, I changed the whole system of that company, or I've really helped that person, and or get your own clients to talk about you. That testimonial, that way of getting someone else to do your promotion is better for a dog, because a dog is never going to shout about themselves, ever. So I hope this has been really helpful. I'd really love to hear your comments. You can reach out to me. I'm sure Hayley will post some links, but she-enjoys.com is my website. There's all sorts of information. And in fact, there's a free quiz right at the top of it that you can click and take if you're not quite sure and you think you're sitting and you're a bit cog or dat, bit cat or dog like, and you're not quite sure, where you can actually then go and do the quiz, and it will give you some information and help you understand some of the challenges you might be having in your life or business at the moment and why. And hopefully that will help you to get out of your own way and move forward and get your mindset for success. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm dying laughing at the cat because I've always been very cat.
Yes.
And I have a dog who has decided that I am her emotional support human, and she's currently sitting under my desk. I've been learning a lot about dog.
Lovely. And can I tell you that very often, I know it's not always the case, but I'd say about 90%, high cats will have a cat. And high dogs will have a dog. So my wife is a high dog and we've got 3 dogs. I haven't got a cat, so that probably tells you quite a lot. I asked if people wanted to guess what I was. So yeah, it's interesting that you have that cat under your desk. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, I have a dog under my desk.
You've got a dog under your desk, yeah?
A very big floofy dog.
Have you? So you've got both? Interesting. Yeah.
I have 3 cats and 2 dogs, yes.
In fact, is that cat food behind you? What is that behind you?
That is cat food behind
Yeah, that's weird. Did you know about this talk? That's spooky, yeah. I expected a cat to come across the thing just as we were talking about it. But yeah,
I'm waiting to see if I get one, but I have to put it all the way back towards the wall so the dogs don't eat it.
Cat who wants to be more dog. So that's quite interesting, which they all do, actually. The high dog want to be more cat, high cat want to be more dog. That's just, we always want to be something we're not. If we've got curly hair, we want straight hair. If we're tall, we want to be short. We always want to be something we're not. It was quite phenomenal.
Now I'm learning the ways of the dog. It's been very interesting.
Yes.
And I'm married to a high dog.
Yes, me too. Yeah, me too.
And
I get very much the whole, I'll say, where do you want to go this evening? And she'll say, doesn't matter, wherever you want to go. I'm like, oh no, just decide, just make a decision. Dog's not very good at deciding stuff because they want it to all be about you. Whereas a cat, we're quite decisive about what we want in life.
Absolutely.
It's always fun to see Kitty's visit while Hayley's on air. Thanks, Meg. Yeah. None at the moment. That's interesting.
Yeah, none
Too
of
many
them.
cats in the room already, maybe.
None of them are terribly hungry at the moment, I guess. Awesome. Well, thank you. This has been really entertaining and informative. Thank you.
That's the whole point. I'm glad you
check out the website above, below, and on the links.
Wherever it is.
Do it.
Thank you very much.
Wherever they are.
Well, your comments. I'll go and answer them in the group. So yeah, brilliant. Wonderful.
Thank you. Take care, guys.